Brian Schwartz, and I'm here with another session preview. I'm very happy to introduce or reintroduce to you Jenna Johnson. She's going to be on our fantasy and world building panel discussion with Kalyn Josephson and Shannon Price. And all three of these authors are extremely successful in the fiction world for what they write into. And I'm going to have Jenna talk a little bit more about what she plans to share at the conference if you come to her session.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Jenna.
Sounds great. All right. So my short bio tagline is fantasy author, swordswoman, chicken mama, and those three short phrases kind of sum me up. So the session that I will be doing is the fantasy and the world building with two other wonderful authors. And my vision for this is I do best when people have great questions for me and I can answer those questions and kind of discuss like how do I get my ideas? How do I create this world that's immersive? Because in my opinion, fantasy books plot is wonderful, great plot, great characters, but if that world can bring you in and make you want to stay in that world or live in that world, it's the author's done an even more phenomenal job. So my goal with this is to hopefully help people who are just starting out, maybe having these ideas, not sure where to start, blank slate, to those who might have something developed and just need a few maybe pointers on other things to add in to make their world even richer than it already is.
Excellent. And as a really frequent past attendee and presenter,
Mhm.
what in your minds are kind of some of the best takeaways from this conference that you've experienced yourself?
Oh, just the adrenaline rush of being around the other writers and just getting in the zone. And we go through times where our creative dams are not filling up. I use the dam analogy of filling up. The dam breaks when you write a lot, and then you got to wait for the dam to build. So, or the water to build behind the dam. That's been kind of where I've been stuck at the moment. But when I go to big events or even small author events, I'm around like-minded people. We all want to write. It's our passion, no matter what genre we write in. And just being around that energy helps kind of boost my own and gets me in the writing mode or writing mood again. And so that's one of the things I love about these sessions and just thinking sometimes going and thinking I already know everything, being a veteran author, I've already done all my research and just little itty bitty details that I learn in different sessions. Just, oh, I never thought of doing that in marketing, for example, or in kind of like outlining if that's your thing. So just the camaraderie, the reconnecting with writers, and just learning things you never realized you needed to know are some of
Yeah,
the highlights for me.
I do think there's magic that happens when you have a kind of a shared consciousness that comes together and it's kind of lit up a little bit more. In your mind, last question is, who do you think would be the ideal person to come to this session with you and Kalyn and Shannon?
All right, so the ideal person would be, again, anyone, especially anybody who's interested in fantasy, whether that be high fantasy, like my Oescienne series, it's set in a completely different invented world, to people who are writing maybe more urban fantasy, or even just fiction who want to have a tiny bit of magical element, or just want to know how to make their world more realistic. I think anybody who's looking, maybe they feel their plot is strong, their characters are strong, but they just don't feel drawn into that world. I think those people would probably benefit from our panel, and especially again the fantasy people, since we're all three of us are fantasy authors. That's kind of our thing.
Absolutely. And I was going to tell you that for you particularly, you should try to drop into the Enneagram session with Allison Priola. So if you
Okay.
know anything about Enneagrams, it's the 9 personality types. And essentially it gives you this persona to build your characters around to make real believable and relatable characters, because the Enneagrams is a kind of tried and true way to describe. We all have a personality type,
Yes.
and you will immediately connect with one or two of these, but your characters take on these personas as well. And I think that what you were just sharing about building this world, but then also the characters within the world, because I mean ultimately that's what makes stories really good. And
Definitely.
you've gotten lots of reviews for your work, and people really dig what you do with not just your fantasy worlds, but I mean the characters within them,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. No, that sounds really interesting. I'll have to make sure. Hopefully, that's not during my panel. I
No,
can
it's in the afternoon. You're good.
Awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
once I get the schedule, I'll have to
Okay.
make sure to highlight that. That does sound quite interesting. I think that does sound pretty exciting.
All right, and you'll have books there as well, right? You're
I
going to be
will have
there
some
at
of my books there. Yes, yes. And
lunch signing books as well.
absolutely. And people can talk to me. I love talking to readers, to other writers. It's one of those things where don't grow up to be a writer, but do grow up to be a writer. So, and just kind of giving back and helping those who, because I've been in that position where you're just starting out, you're a little nervous, you don't know where to go, and just having open people who are friendly and want to help you out. So
Cool.
I'll
So
look
for
forward to
those of
it.
you who may not have registered yet, head over to centralcoastwritersconference.com. It's Saturday, October 5th, which is quickly approaching, and we hope you make it. It's an all-day event. Starts at 8:30, goes till 5:30. Lee Rubin is our keynote speaker, but we've got essentially now descriptions. I think I have one more to go, but you can now watch one of these quick previews for every single session. So you will know exactly which session you should be in when you plan your day. So
That's
thanks,
great.
Jenna. Look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you
Thank you, Ryan.
in October.
See you then.